Ooh.
Oh,
What's
Elliot
up?
is graduating. Elliot is graduating today.
Oh, awesome.
His master's in fine arts.
Welcome to my world, Elliot.
No, oh my God. He's been there for 3 years.
Yeah, Chicago.
Yes. Oh, I'm so proud of him.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember all of us sitting across talking.
Yeah, but I remember his story. So he's basically been no family support doing this on his own. So it
Yeah.
comes on at 4. I'm gonna try to tap in. Well, I'm in LA, so it comes in at 4. It comes on at 3 1 for you.
Oh, 1 o'clock for me. Wait, where?
One,
Oh,
two.
Chicago. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's your time at 4. Wait, huh? He's later then. He's later.
Right. But for
Yeah,
your
he'd be
time, he's
later.
at 1. Your time, he's at 1.
Mm-mm. If he's at 4 o'clock your time, that'll be 3 hours later from me. So that would be like 7.
What?
We're
Wait a
we're
minute.
ahead of you. We're ahead of you on the East Coast.
Right. I'm 2 o'clock. I
Okay.
mean, it's 2 o'clock Central.
So then it'll be 3 o'clock. Then, yeah. Wait, you're in
Right.
California. You're in California, so it's 3 hours. It'll be 5. It'll be 5. If you're, how are
No,
you
he's
Central? Aren't you
Central.
in LA?
He's Central. He is Central.
He's
Elliot is Central.
so he says the
He's
same time as Texas. So
2 o'clock
2 o'clock.
Central.
So that's 3 o'clock. Okay. Okay. Two,
No,
three.
it's 1 o'clock for you.
Oh,
It's one
right,
o'clock for
right.
you and 4 o'clock for me.
You're saying he's 2 o'clock. So it's 1 o'clock. Okay.
Central.
You know what? Time zones. You travel between all the places. So I'm wrong. There we go.
I'm gonna send you the link. Look, needless to
uh
say, I'm gonna send you the link.
yeah. I like this
So
stuff.
shout out to Elliot Sims for graduating with his master's. We met him at a
In
film festival in Dallas. Great young man, stepping out on faith and just doing
Austin.
everything um,
It
to
was the
show his
capital
talent. Hmm
capital city Black Film Festival, Austin. You said Dallas.
hmm Oh, well,
So
he's from the Dallas area, so
yeah, he's
I
from
also
Dallas, but yeah, we met him in
yeah,
Austin. Yeah. Okay, there we
and
go.
he went to North Texas and then Northwestern.
So
Northwestern.
yeah. So good morning, good morning, good morning. If you happen to join us and you're looking in, you're hanging out. TK is in LA. Wait, no, you're in Texas.
I'm in LA.
Then you're not Central.
I didn't say I
Oh,
was
you
central.
said
I said
he's
he
Central.
started.
See, there we go. Who's on first? Who's on second? Who's on third?
I'm
Oh,
like,
it's early. It's in the
amen.
morning. It's early in the morning. Early in the morning. Hey, Darrell, what's up, man? How are you guys doing?
Hey,
Um,
Darrell, when do you start shooting?
what's up? What's up? What's up? While Darrell responds, we're gonna go ahead and do what it is. We're gonna do what it is, what we do, baby. Here we go. Let's bring the show in. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Hey, welcome to the Saturday morning indie industry shop talk. I'm your host, Michael Melville, my co-host, Tamara TK Henderson. We're hanging out at the Black Filmmakers Lounge, where independent filmmakers, whether novice or professionals, come together to gain insight and perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that will advance the Black interdependent film community. And once again, I'm your host, Michael Melvin, and I was Tamira TK Henderson right over there. Hey, y'all, let's give her the.
Okay, Darrell
Thumbs
starts shooting
up.
on the 8th.
He's shooting on the
Perfect.
28th.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right,
So fine.
congratulations.
So he's getting his master's in fine arts degree in acting.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be acting.
Well,
That's
well
everybody
I
was
thought it was
talking
just
about.
fine art, master's and then when I looked, it was like in acting. So,
Oh,
what's
okay.
up, guys? What's up, guys? Got some stuff to talk about today. We actually,
Yeah, we're hanging out. TK's on a long trip. We want y'all to enjoy because we're inching closer to our show summer break. Um, as time progresses. so so you won't see us for the month of July unless although at the end of this month, and what's the day?
cool.
Darrell said June is a busy month. I have to go to the Newark for the festival on the
Okay.
23rd to the 25th. So
And
there
then
you
he
go.
starts shooting on the 28th.
Yeah,
So
shoot.
he's
So you start shooting when he gets back. There you go. Um, yeah, festival. It's festival season for the summer because ABFF. Isn't that next week?
I believe so. Yep. Should be.
Right.
So they moved it to Juneteenth. Yep.
Yeah, you're
Juneteenth
having
area.
Martha's Vineyard. That'll be coming up. So that's one another film festival that's coming up. The Charlotte Black Film Festival, which we're working on going, is July 6th through the 9th, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hmm.
So I am is going to be screened there at 1:30 or 1 o'clock. Let me go back to the thing. Um, ooh. Oh, here we go. Because they have the film thing. 1:30. It will be filming Friday, July 7th at 1:30. Screening, not filming.
Hmm.
I don't know. The word filming comes out as well. It rolls off my tongue
Come
many
on.
times.
That's what I hope to be doing in July. Let's
Exactly.
lock down this funding so I can shoot.
You know what? I was considering a second season of I Am in a anthology or treating in the first season as an anthology and coming with the second season with a whole new um, cast, but maybe some like guest appearances type of deal.
Hmm.
Because
Okay.
we originally had written the second season was about to start grinding on the third, and of course the spinoff, but stuff happens. But that thought has entered my brain for quite a while. It's been coming back and forth, but um, so it's the season of people filming because I know, like I said, 2023, I wanted to be filming and working on some things,
Hmm.
and I got to get my grind on. So, I'm awake. You're awake. You're awake early. Thank you for TK because I know you're on a trip and we always appreciate you. I appreciate you, my sister. Oh,
Amen.
because I know you grinding. You've been really working hard these past months. Doing the
Hmm.
clothes thing for the proms and all that stuff, and grinding on that, working on your script, and um,
Scheduling. I
yeah,
scheduled
scheduling
somebody
script.
gave me like a 10-minute tutorial on on cell text. I would say about 10
Hmm.
minutes, and I've scheduled the whole thing out. I put the time duration for each scene. I've added all the characters, and I did the summaries for the call sheets,
Okay.
like
And
like all of that.
I remember we did a show on scheduling. We were using Jungle Gorilla one time when we were showing scheduling through
Hmm.
that. And then we've talked about budgeting and stuff. So we've done some stuff on the show that we know that we may have to circle back around for others to help out.
You know what? Especially budgeting, because a lot of people, especially budgeting. Um, what was I about to say about? I was about to say, oh, so I end up finding because I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I have a friend, a colleague, and we're sharing the cell text because he's been having it for years, so we're sharing it. And
Mm-hmm.
so instead of $60 a month, I'm able to pay $30 a month
Mm.
for the cell text to get everything broken down and scheduled out and stuff. So, and because I am looking at shooting back to back films, I'm going to put the other one in as well. and schedule that out. I think I got to make sure I don't want to rewrite part of it though. Um, a couple of scenes before I do that. But
Okay.
yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and schedule that out because it's like, I mean, I feel if I already know I'm shooting these two, I've already been led to shoot these two back to back. Why wait until the money drops before I'm prepared? So I'm big on being prepared. Quit praying for stuff, quit asking for stuff, and you're not even prepared to do
Mm,
stuff. You know what I mean? We're waiting for certain things to happen before we even prepare for it.
yeah.
Nah, get it prepared. And
You
then when
know
it
what?
comes, you're ready.
Something came to mind. And hey, good morning, Raynetta. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And if you are joining us, let us know that you're here hanging out with us today. Um, I posted something on Facebook
Hmm.
and I've been getting, I've, I got a response about it. And, of course, you're going to get some likes and stuff. But, and this was also speaking to myself. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I wasn't just speaking to those in social media land, but I usually post things personally when I get this aha or this real greater realization or the epiphany and um, come to this thing. And I've been watching stuff on YouTube and listening to people speak on different things, just checking out different stuff, my daily thing.
Hmm.
And I started hearing this word pop up, or phrase, not even a word, phrase pop up. And it made me go back to, um, sorry, I'm trying to get my bearings real quick on here. Um, it made me think back to my behavior and mindset on certain things and accomplishing stuff. And I'm always proud to be around you, Derek, and everybody. But and the people I'm around because you guys encourage and push. But I said, whoever came up with the phrase is easier said than done gave us a self defeating excuse.
Mm.
And I say this in my classroom to the students. I say an excuse is a lie disguised to look like a reason. And the reason I say this is this because everybody, oh, people have to say it. I usually say it because somebody's telling me something and I know I should do it, but I haven't done it. Right. It's an excuse. You're procrastinating. But I came to this realization because we always go, it's easier said than done. But but the thing is to do, and I take it to one of my favorite quotes from Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back. Yoda said to
Hmm.
Luke, he said, do or do not. There is no try. Like if you think about you either do it or you don't.
You either do it or you don't. Period.
And
Period.
and oftentimes we find ourselves as filmmakers, oh, that's so easier said than done. You don't know what I got going on. I got so much going on. We all do. We have life going on. And even when I accomplished a lot of my goals, I didn't let life stop me. I had deaths in the family. I had other stuff happening. And
Hmm.
those were actually the things that motivated me, you know. And I share this, losing my grandfather um, motivated me to make movies and publish my book and do my thing because that was how I can honor somebody who believed in me. And so when we start telling ourselves or others, oh, it's easier said than done, it sounds easy. No, it doesn't sound easy. It is what it is. I think if we start operating off of honesty,
Mm.
like I'm just been procrastinating or I've put other things priority over that. I know I said I want to accomplish this goal or dream, but I'm placing things ahead of it that I've prioritized more than that.
Wow. That's a whole sermon right there. That's a whole sermon right there. Wow. Because that's what we do to procrastinate. I mean, well, I don't have, or I can't, or what if this doesn't, or it's like, but like I said, then when it hits, Then when it hits or someone's like, "Oh, you're a writer. Oh, you're a filmmaker. Let me tell you about your project." Send me the script. And then you're on the phone because you got somebody requesting something that you've been talking about
Mm-hmm.
and you have nothing to send them.
Mm.
That is one of my biggest things. Somebody was like, "Should I be talking to these people about pitch meetings and this, and that, and trying to get a meeting?" I said, "Do you have a pitch packet ready?" No. Well, why are you going to talk to them about a pitch if you don't have a pitch packet ready? It makes no sense to me. Until you're ready, stop reaching out to people. Stop taking people's time. Stop being on conversations with people. And this is the thing. And I think a lot of us in this industry know that people would eat up your time to talk about all of this stuff, and they are not ready for anything, like
Mm.
nothing. You
Mm.
have nothing. But people will call you, and it's really probably more of a motivational conversation, which is okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to call people to get motivated. But I've had people that I had to understand my boundaries on helping people. And just of course that across life in general, but in this industry, because people will constantly take your time and they are not doing anything. They're
Mm.
just on your phone getting motivated, but there's a certain limit to calling people and motivating. I literally absolutely, Tony. Absolutely, Tony. Shout out to Tony Williams, our friend from Dallas, who's a wonderful actor, and just had a article posted I shared on Vonage Dallas. So shout out to
Okay.
Tony for. Um, but I literally had one guy that would call me at least once or twice a week, and he was on my phone for an hour, hour and a half.
Mm.
And it got to the point like I eventually just end up blocking him at the end of the day because I was like, this is ridiculous. I did like a little work for him, but the amount of time I spent on the phone with him
Mm-hmm.
about projects that could have happened or wanted to happen and all this stuff, it was ridiculous. I was like, this is ridiculous. But we don't understand that when we're not ready, we
Mm-hmm.
have to be mindful of taking people's time who are doing stuff and are ready and are preparing, or like I said, doing stuff again,
Mm-hmm.
and you're constantly calling and calling and calling to get a motivational speech, and you're not
Right.
paying them for this motivational speech. It's okay to call people and get lifted, get advice. That is just fine. But make sure when you call, you're doing stuff.
Mm.
You're not just taking these people time for nothing. I don't mind talking to anybody. I think all of you guys know that. I don't mind talking to anyone. But if you're constantly not doing and you're just sucking up people's time, that just doesn't, it's not right. It's not right, period. And you shouldn't even want to do that. When I call people, I'm like, hey, 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 I can't pay you yet. I just got a quick question.
Uh-huh.
Literally, ask my DP. I just got a quick question. He talk about other things and keep the conversation going, and my question is answered in 3 minutes. When I can
Right.
pay, when I'm paying you, I will take more of your time. But right now, I have a quick question.
Mm. But it just hit me. Well, it didn't hit me, but it woke me back up because sometimes we get so caught up in a lot of things, and life happens, But as a young man, I'd always say life happens, but those who go after pursue their dreams achieve them.
Mhm.
And I say that because they're around you. You want to be actor, you look at a Will Smith. You look at
Mhm.
all these. It wasn't that people weren't lucky. I don't believe in luck. So just
Mhm.
to help you guys, I don't believe in luck. I believe that what you put out in the universe, there's a biblical term, um, speak it as it is, what you say, what you think, manifest,
Mhm.
right? But um, you still, faith without deeds is death. So you can have faith in your dreams, but if you do not work towards them, you just as much kill them. Because to really show that you have faith in achieving something, you have to be working on it or towards it.
Mhm.
Because again, how can you give something life if you just think it's going to fall out the air? It requires something of you. And so that was my realization at a young age. So the things I have accomplished are because I wasn't afraid, or even if I was afraid, I said, "Well, what's the worst that can happen?" Like I always, what's the worst thing I can say? No, okay. Like who can tell you no when you own the camera, when you write the stories, when or you got the people around you? Who can say no?
Absolutely.
There's always a means. Like and it's not, you know. And so I like Tony right here.
Mm.
See, good morning, Rosalind. Good morning, Thomas. Tony said luck gets confused with preparation all the time. There we go. That and that's like real. Because what it was, I heard Will Smith say it. If you get ready, you stay ready. You'll be ready when the moment happens, right? And even today, I haven't filmed anything in a moment since grad school. I haven't really shot anything but stuff at work, right? But in my mind, I'm ready. I have the equipment. I have scripts. We got tons of scripts. So, it's just getting in that frame of mindset at this point now. I like seeing Darrell doing his thing. Darrell said it. He said, I couldn't afford to sit around. I wasn't getting any opportunities. I would still be waiting had I not decided to do it anyway. And that's what it is. Don't wait for people. The only person, truthfully, the only person you're really waiting for, in all honesty, is yourself when you're waiting.
And sometimes that's for reason.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those no's are for reason. You could have got the no's because God wanted you to do this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's if this um, like you said, the excuse. Because what happens is when we do get opportunities, sometimes we forget what we're actually supposed to do because we're too busy working on the opportunity. And there are things that we've been called to do that we're not doing, that we're putting on hold because it's easier
Mm-hmm.
to jump on somebody else's bandwagon with their funding and all of this instead of doing the hard stuff and doing what we're supposed to do. It's
Mm.
easier. So
And I,
sometimes those no's, they always say that those
yeah,
no's is pushing you closer to your purpose and what you're supposed to do. Just
Tom,
possibilities,
all you
exactly.
can do is try. There are no guarantees, just possibilities. And I think you
Absolutely.
should try.
If it's on you if it's on you heavy,
Mm-hmm.
it's heavy for a reason.
Yeah, and life happens. Like I gotta say this, life happens. What life happens to all of us. Like I've said this, and it's not the lack of emotion or empathy. It's that one, we're all gonna die. Like that's a reality. It's inevitable.
Mhm.
We are meant to live, and we're meant to die. It's the living part we tend not to really do to the best of our ability. We have fear that sets in. What are we afraid of? And I tell my students, I say this to my students all the time. There's only two things I learned to understand. If somebody's already done it, that means it can be done. The only
Mm.
greatest challenge is doing something that nobody's ever done before. Because you'll be the first. That's it. You don't have to worry about flying a plane because people are already flying. Like it's already being done. You just got to learn how to do it. And yes, I hear what people say. It's easier said than done. No, you got to do it. If you really want it bad enough, you'll do it. You'll do what you want to do. You know.
That part, because like you said, even with no money, you can write a story. Even with no money, you can write stuff out on paper. All that stuff I'm doing putting in cell text now. I had all that written out on paper. Like I have everything written out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I typed it up. So I didn't handwrite it, but if I did handwrite it, if I didn't have the computer to type it up, it was still written and done. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't wait for the software to come to schedule the movie. It was already scheduled on a piece of paper.
And the crazy thing is, all the tools are in our hands.
Mhm.
Excuse me. The phone is nothing but a computer, and now it writes what you speak. So you don't have to worry about typing as much. Um, you have all these tools at your disposal. The phone is a camera. You got phones that record video, so you can do your short film or project. Like everything is literally now at people's fingertips. So
Mm-hmm.
it's the question is, what is the excuse, right?
What? Yeah. What's the next excuse?
Yeah, what is it we're gonna come up with to say? Well, this happened, and circumstances do happen, and you just now there's a prep period, but and I realize sometimes you're not moving into something because you need to prep for it. Like if you don't know how to save $100, why would you be blessed or earn 1,000? If you don't know how to save $1,000, why would you be able to have 100,000? Why would
Mm-hmm.
you, if you're not able to do the things to get to that part where you like to be, if you mismanage money, how can doors or opportunities work for you because you don't know how to manage your money? And pursuing your dreams require money management, something we don't often think about. If I wanted to paint, I need to set money aside to buy the easel, to buy the paints I need, the canvas that I want to use to paint. Um, Maybe take a couple classes on painting or watch some YouTube stuff, whatever. I need to set aside money and time. And I put money on things that aren't worth anything in the long run. Like I give you, here's a Michael Melvin experience. So for about a couple months, I started eating at Starbucks breakfast. I don't drink coffee. I just went and got like, this isn't Starbucks. I bought this in the store, but I got something like this. It was a cold pressed juice and an Impossible like sausage, egg and cheese sandwich or whatever, right? And I started doing that every morning. And then I stopped for a second. I said, wait a second, I'm spending about $12 here every morning, Monday through Friday. And you do it
Mm-hmm.
for a good month or so, right? And then I was buying something else like a walnut bread or whatever thing to go with it. So I'm spending close to about $20 a day. It's $100. It's
For breakfast,
$400. That's breakfast, just for breakfast.
just
It's
for
$400.
breakfast.
You know what I could use with $400 on? You know what it took me to go buy the stuff, the actual stuff itself, for over a week or a couple weeks? Less than $100. The breakfast sandwiches stuff that I got, there's like 6 to a pack. That's 6 days. That gives me Saturday. And it's $6.99.
And,
$7.99.
and that's
That's one
and that's not
sandwich.
and that's all Starbucks is doing to take it out the package, stick it in the microwave anyway. It's not like they're cooking it fresh.
I
They're
had to
doing
check
exactly what
myself.
they do at the store.
Yeah, I gotta check myself. Sometimes we're spending money unnecessarily. Um, so yeah, and so it's not that it's easier said than done. It's that what do I need to do and when do I need to start? Let me start now. Let me not make an excuse. Let me do it now. Maybe that's the thing. Instead of saying to somebody, because some places we work jobs and we come up with excuses. And if you ever worked a corporate job, it's not that you come with an excuse. You're supposed to come with a solution. You see, if you notice
Mm-hmm.
there's a problem, you solve it. That's what you're
Mm-hmm.
really supposed to do, right? And that's what we all should be doing. Instead of we can't do this. Why can't we do it? What can we do to make it get done? Or what do we have to do differently? What's the solution? So solution is let's get it going. Let's make it happen. Let's do what we got to do, baby. There we go.
And speaking of solution, one of
Mhm.
the films I actually watched is I watched three
Okay.
this past week. When I fly, I definitely watch films, but one of the films I watched was called Forgiven, and it was on Netflix. It was an independent film, and it was only probably 100 and I mean like an hour and 10 minutes. They
Oh.
it says an hour and 18, but it was done at 110. But the thing about this particular movie, there was four locations.
Hmm.
There was a bedroom, there was a church, there was a playground, and there was a room that was supposed to be at the back of the church. That's it.
Like the whole movie, just those 4 locations.
The whole movie, those 4 locations: a playground, a bedroom, and the church. And the only reason why I said the back room, which the back room they said was attached to the church. I don't know if it was actually attached to the church
Because
or
that could be
they
anywhere.
just, yeah, but it could have been the fellowship hall of the church. If I was to guess, it was the
Mhm.
fellowship hall of the church
Okay.
downstairs, and that is what they use. So they actually crafted. I don't know if they wrote the movie. I don't know if they wrote the movie first or decided they were going to write a movie with locations. Because sometimes I just write movies like two. I have 2 movies with 9 locations.
Mm,
Like I
mhm.
literally, but I wrote the story. They just happened to be at 9 locations. So I don't know if they catered to the locations or that's how the story came out. But yeah, that was it. There was minimal actors because
Mhm.
they had the police, they had the main actor, they had a father, 2 sisters, and they had like 2 church services. So they actually had 2 church services, 2 or 3 church services. So that was still everybody at the church. And
Mhm.
then they had um a couple of officers that was extras, and then they had the main 3 officers and then the main 4 actors. So it was 7 actors. 7 actors in 4 locations.
Mm.
Or really 3, like I said, 3, because I'm pretty sure it's a fellowship hall, 3 locations. So
Mhm.
that was really, I was like, and they told a well-rounded story. They told a well-rounded story in that. And then I watched Mixed by Erie. You should check that one out, Michael.
Okay.
Mixed by Erie is on Netflix, and it's a true story from the 80s and 90s about a guy who wanted to all he wanted to do was DJ.
Mm.
But he was making mixtapes using vinyl. So the interesting story about that is when I see foreign films, especially like this one, there are so many freaking locations. And I don't think it was a studio film, but there are so many freaking locations. So it always makes me think like,
Their
is it
permit
cheaper to
system might
shoot?
be different. Were they outdoors?
Was it outdoors?
Was a lot of locations outdoors or
No,
um because here's the thing too.
not
Um
really.
inside locations, because we got a few locations when we did I am, remember?
Mhm.
And we just went and talked to people and they just signed a location release form. We went and talked to them ahead of time and said, hey, we'll really push your stuff, market your location or whatever if it's a business. Had friends who say, hey, you can use this office, had 2 law office locations. Um, houses, people were like, hey, you can shoot here,
Yeah.
things like that. So it's kind of like, but if you respect the location, right? Things can happen, but if you respect the location, um, and don't damage nothing, try to do your best with, there's so many aspects, but um, because we did have a one time situation where camera was walking backwards and walked into the wall and the foot slipped, but it went into the wall. But they were like, "Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it." Da da da. And then they were like, "We were lucky. We were blessed that they didn't go, hey, don't come back." Like, now you can come back and shoot. Stuff happens. Like it wasn't intentional.
Mhm.
You wasn't punching a wall. You
And
stepped.
this was a period piece.
Hmm.
So it's a period piece on top of that. And when there's a lot of people in this, but when you see it, you see it. But what Netflix did was dub it English.
Okay.
So at first it was like, but it's based on a true story and it's about copyright and piracy and all that stuff.
Mm.
But it's a true story that happened in the 80s and early 90s. So this stuff was going on. Like what the fact that he was making mixtapes off of vinyls.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, it's
Well, that's
it's
how it
pretty, I
happened.
mean,
That's how DJs used to do in the first place. They'd pop a tape in and they'd create the mixtape and then they'd make copies of the tape and they go sell
listen, but
them.
and it's interesting because remember this is in Italy in
Okay.
1985. So,
Wait, are
you
you
think
saying they
about
sold records of mixtapes?
they sold tapes.
They sold actual physical tapes, cassette
Yes,
tapes.
so
Oh, okay. Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
see
That's
it
normal up here.
when you see it's really it's definitely watch. Now when I realized it was dubbed English,
Hmm.
it almost threw me off for a second, but the story was still there. It
Okay.
did not kill the story, so I definitely, um, recommend that. But the period piece aspect and the location of people, I was like, "How much did this
Mm.
cost to shoot?" When we looking at it, I did enjoy it, but, I was thinking, "Dang, it's a lot." But, definitely did enjoy it, and then I did watch A Man Called Otto.
Okay. How did you feel?
Okay, so I've learned now to take napkins or Kleenex or something on the plane because I get caught on
Hmm.
the plane snotting. I watch, what was it, Blue Bayou? Blue Bayou? Oh my god, I was crying so hard and didn't have one. The poor people next to me, they didn't know what to do. I think it's called Blue Bayou.
Okay.
That that movie tore me up. On the plane, I'm snotting, I'm like and I have no Kleenex. It's
Mm.
horrible. It was the worst. So I've learned. So A Man Called Otto, I was literally holding my laugh because I was laughing so hard. I was laughing so hard, and then, of course, I was crying so hard.
It knew how to tug at the emotions.
Oh my god, that movie touched every emotion. Guys, if you have not seen it, A Man Called Otto is so amazing. And it was Tom Hanks, so I knew it was gonna be good.
Hmm.
I did know it was gonna be good, but it was Tom Hanks. But listen, that movie, that was so thank you for keeping like you got to watch it. You got to watch it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
That
watch this,
movie.
yeah. But it's interesting because you think about Tom Hanks. Like Tom Hanks for me goes far back to Splash and Bachelor Party, right? And then you're
Mhm.
like, wait, but that's a different. Like that was comedy. He was really big on comedies for a while, but then I mean, it's still comedic, but it's more life stuff. It's like life happening, but there's moments that are funny within life, like we always have as human beings.
This
So that's
movie,
why it tugs well.
this movie cracked me up so many times. I laughed so much. I laughed so much. Then, like I said, I cried, but I laughed so much. I was on the plane, like I was on the plane. I was like, oh, it was killing me. And nice cinematography. I actually took screenshots of different scenes when I'm looking back through my pictures when I'm filming.
Hmm.
Um, some nice creative shots. If you have not seen The Man Called Otto, guys, that was that was good. That was good. But I
And you
kept
under and you have to understand the
playing, and I was like,
character.
I. Mhm.
He has a mental disorder. He's has high functioning autism, which is Asperger's. So that's why,
Oh, he
yeah, he is the way
did.
he is, and he's very concise with
Oh,
stuff.
he
And
had
yeah,
Asperger's. Oh, okay. I knew he was a little just slightly different when he was meeting the girl, but I
hmm,
thought that's because he was more sheltered and shy and
yeah.
kinda socially awkward,
Well, he is because of
but
his
he
mental disorder.
actually had Asperger's.
That's the character, yeah. And I was telling Jamal that I like movies like that.
Okay.
Like I liked watching The Accountant with Ben Affleck because he had autism. The character has autism,
Hmm.
functioning. So it's when you see characters that have um, a mental disorder or something that is really impacting how they see the world, it gives you that real glance to see the world the way they see it, or how the quirkiness. Um,
Yes.
there was I can't remember, it was one with little kid and he had Asperger's as well. And his dad died, and his dad would take him on trips and give him challenges.
Mhm.
And the kid was highly intelligent, but he didn't have the social skills. because of his mental disorder, and
Mm-hmm.
he still was likable. And I think it was like North or something was the movie. Um, and I feel like Tom Hanks was the dad. Like I gotta
Hmm.
look it up now because I'm like I gotta check this out. But that's what I'm saying. Like when I look at our storytelling, we have so many kids in our community, in the Black community, that have autism or anxiety or all these. How how do you create characters
Yes.
that see the world and that connect the people? To have a much deeper understanding. So that's why I like those stories because um, Mr. and Pete, a really good movie with two little boys because their moms are drug addicts
Oh,
and they travel the city, New York. If you get a chance, Mr. and Pete, good movie.
the
Stuff like
inevitable, what
that.
was it? The inevitable defeat of Mr. and Pete
Yeah, the inevitable defeat, Mr. and Pete.
with
Yep,
Jennifer
and
Hudson. Yep, Jennifer Hudson was one of the mothers. Oh, that movie, it was so good. It was so heartbreaking to watch that. That was just like that was so. And I
because
think Michelle Obama actually showed it at the White House because, if I'm not mistaken, she showed it at the White House because she was talking about the food deserts. Also, being able to get fresh food in their cities, if I'm not mistaken. But, one of the scenes in, when they really showed they showed his character and his Hank's, character Otto, and, they showed his crazy side, but they showed his good moments, and, like, even at the beginning when he met his wife and they were out eating, and she asked him the question, "Why didn't you get an entree?"
mm-hmm.
And I was like, but, I mean, it was so funny when he he beat up that girl. It's a good movie. I don't wanna spoil it for anyone, but guys, that that when you watch movies that, where the characters are so rich, that was definitely one of those where the characters were so rich. And, am I frozen? No,
You
I see you
freeze every
blink.
once in a
Okay.
while, but you're not frozen. That's a movie.
Okay. Uh, good. And, um, the, Knives Out series, both of those Knives Out movies,
Mhm.
and the characterization, the second Knives Out, The Glass Onion, you know who my favorite character was?
Cool.
The guy's mom. Remember the bodybuilder?
Yeah.
His mother. She was my favorite character.
Oh, really?
She cracked me up.
See, and I like Janelle Monae's
Yes.
character. Like I was like, oh, because she played two characters,
Yeah,
you
she was
know.
good. She was
Yeah.
good.
So it was like,
But we've
yeah,
seen
she was
what,
really
1 or
good.
2 scenes?
And
We've
I was
seen 1 or
like,
2 scenes with the mom. Mhm.
that was I actually like that one. The first one was good, Knives Out. But the second one to me was better and had something, it didn't miss anything, but it was just if it was different than the first one. And you also um I mean you're still investigating murder and murders, right? So it does a lot of
1
twists and
location.
turns. Yeah.
No, let me take that back. It was more than 1 location because they would show the people
In
on
their
their
in their
outside before they got
environments.
there.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
it wasn't a
limited.
whole
Like
bunch of.
you those weren't long day shoots either. I mean, I guess I don't know. I wasn't there on set, but those weren't like big long time shoots. But yeah, because the other location they showed them at was at the person's house that was murdered when they all went there.
They showed that, and then they showed, the guy's house, like, each of their houses before they left,
Yeah, their lifestyles.
which
Yeah.
actually which actually could have been a sitting room in the big mansion that they shot at. Because
Or a studio. Yeah.
sitting so they may have used 1 location other than the bar for all of that.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
she got his name.
Renetta said
Oh, okay.
it was the diversity of the cast that made it the second one better. Okay. Yeah. That too. There you go. See. Um, Thomas says we have so many stories like that in our community that are not being written. about and produced, and they can be profitable. Absolutely, 100% agree.
That's why that's why that statement easier said than done because there are people sitting on like to me everybody's given. All of us as creatives, we were created to create, and I always say that. We were created to create. And there are stories like my story, I don't have any stories that God gives me about mental illness. I have other stories and
Hmm.
there's other messages in my stories, but there are people who have messages about people with anxiety, about people with depression or Asperger's. They have these stories of bipolar that they're sitting on because they're too afraid to move. And like you said, Thomas, these stories, they have these stories and they're sitting on them and they're there and they will be able to connect with people on so many different levels, but people are sitting there saying it's easier said than done. So I'm just
Yeah.
not going to do anything.
And so
Period.
we got to, we have to think about those. Um, all right, any other movies? DK.
No, I watched those three. That did good. Watching three. That was
Yeah,
good.
you did. All right, so I did finish my Drops of God series on Apple. Um,
Okay.
it was really good. It um, there were some things I was expecting something, and it actually did pan out that way. But it was a really good story, right? It was a really interesting story. Um, it's not that many episodes. It's like I can't remember how many episodes. It's not maybe 4 or 5 tops. And it's on
Hmm.
Apple TV. Really good though. Of course, we're still watching Murders Only in This Building. We're on season 2, so it's getting interesting. Um, and you're seeing season 1 come in. So if you haven't watched season 1, you got to watch season 1, then watch season 2. So we did that, and of course, did I watch anything else? Any movies or anything? Uh, Not that I can think of. I did see Spider Verse, but I think I talked about that last show. Um,
Which
the
one?
new Spider-Man movie.
Did you talk about that
I
last
thought
one?
I talked about last show because I saw it last Thursday. Um,
Oh, then you
yeah,
probably did.
I probably
Um,
mentioned it.
BMF is actually
Back to
was
school.
back in production. I did not know that until I read
Yeah.
that article that I sent you yesterday, Michael.
Yes, and I knew Power Book 2 was already in production this month and going into July. Uh,
Because remember, they stopped BMF.
yeah, they stopped
They
BMF.
stopped shooting
That
BM.
wasn't because of the strike though. That was a 50 Cent situation.
I
Um,
know.
with
I
stars.
know.
Um, he stopped production, so I didn't know they restarted it up again.
Yeah, that's
But
what I was
yeah,
saying. I didn't know they restarted until that article yesterday. And I don't know if you've seen this, but the craziest and most embarrassing thing happened.
what?
A producer from BMF went to and so the writers on the strike line. No, you can
You
hear
got
me.
froze on us. You froze on us.
Okay. I don't know why it's doing. I'm gonna flip over.
One
I'm
more
gonna flip
again.
to.
Now I don't, don't flip over because you flip over,
Don't
you
flip.
probably get kicked out. Yeah, just say one more again.
But will it be better? Will it be better if I
um,
won't? So I won't get frozen and kicked out
it's up to
for the
you, but I
duration.
think you'd be kicked out if we be waiting for a minute. So we almost wrapping up. So
Okay.
might as well
So,
just keep it going.
so if you can hear, okay. So a producer from BMF um was trying to intimidate writers on the strike line in Georgia. If I remember correctly, it's in Georgia. And he used his vehicle and acted like he was going to run over these people.
On the
He
strike line.
literally could have killed them if it did not play out like he planned to. But he is now under studio investigation. Of
Hmm.
course, he's been fired. That was the most horrible thing I have ever, I mean, it really broke my heart to see that. It was like these people are out here and you literally threaten. This is not even your money. This is not your
Mm-hmm.
show.
Oh, he's a
And
producer. Probably it could be. I mean,
if
it could
you're a
be his money.
producer, if you're a producer, it's not. I doubt if he's got that much money in it. If you're a
Mhm.
producer for BMF, you are not broke.
Right.
So whatever the reason was, I think that literally broke my heart that this man played with these people's lives
Mhm.
while they're striking for their livelihood.
Mm.
Because if it, like I said, if it would have not calculated at a split second like he thought, he literally could have killed one of them.
But it's like, regardless of it, I mean, it's not something you just don't do. You don't threaten people's lives. You don't play with it. I mean, it's a strike, and then people want money. Like, people want living wages for whatever job we do, whatever, in society. Um, why is how? And I always think about it this: why don't the people who make the most money at the top take the least amount of money and then see? Be in their position, take less and pay them more, and then see what they experience. And maybe you think differently because the wage gap is so huge in corporations and everything anyway with management. You have places that pay people. They're actually talking about one of the CEOs of an AI company that isn't panning out very well right now, but they pay him way too much. No, it wasn't the AI. I'm sorry. It was one of the gambling companies, was sports gambling, the apps. So the
Hmm.
the CEO, the person in charge, he makes a lot of money, but they've been losing money. And they're like, should we be paying this guy this amount of money if we're losing this much money? And so this is where now you're thinking about the guy at the top you're paying a lot of money to, but do you think about the workers? And can you cut your check so that more can get into their check? Like, I get it. People who work, a person at GM might be making 300,000 to $1 million a year. Could they cut their check to 200,000 so that more workers can get a little bit more pay? Would you, they're not willing to do that. We think about banks. When we give our country's giving banks money to bail them out, and they pay their CEOs or CFOs money, and they didn't put the money back into the bank like they're supposed to. And so the same thing happened. It's people want a living wage, and that's really what it comes down to. There's a
And they
difference
don't want to
between.
break doing it. Like you don't see, I don't know if you guys know. I mean, you probably know somebody that have worked or worked before Amazon. Amazon shift is 10 and a half hours. They have a 15-minute break that's paid, a 15-minute break that's unpaid, and they have a 30-minute unpaid lunch break, which they have to walk 5 to 10 minutes to get to the place to even have lunch and then walk back. So they
Mhm,
literally have like a 20-minute break. So for 10 and a half hours, they're working an hour. I mean, they're taking an hour break total,
mhm,
as grueling as it is. But the other thing is, that's why I'm one of those people, like, I try not to go to the store on holidays because it
mhm.
pisses me off that the upper management who gets paid the most and these people are getting paid the least have to come in on holidays while they're at home spending time with their families. And they have to be on the front lines working for that whole $10, $15 an hour while everybody else is at home enjoying family. So it's stuff like that that I always like. I'm like, ugh,
But you know how we
literally.
spoke volumes when we stopped doing Black Friday or Thanksgiving night? We stopped going to the stores. Everybody was like, "No, we're not going to go," because people need to
uh,
be at home with their families. And some stores like Target and Walmart responded to that and was like, "Yeah, we're going to be closed."
yeah, because
And
they start opening on Thanksgiving. Remember, like at
mhm,
5. So it sounds good to you because you can spend time with your family and then go in at 5 to the store. But the people, they got to be there all day.
mhm,
They got to be there before 5. You know what I mean? And it's like it start getting out of hand. It really
yeah.
started getting out of hand. But needless to say, we're off on 10.
No, no, we in it, but it's about a film industry thing. It's not just a tangent. It's also, you writers want to be compensated for their work. A producer keeps getting paid for the work. You
Hmm.
know, So why doesn't the writer? Why don't the people at the top keep getting paid? You wouldn't have the story if it wasn't for the person writing it. You wouldn't have well, you wouldn't.
Oh, they don't know that. I don't think they know that.
I mean, if you can't write, but you can find money to make stuff. But this is also why I do challenge writers to become producers, because put that in your contract that you become a producer. That way you keep getting paid. Because to me, if you came up with a story and somebody goes, "Well, I have the money," yeah, you do, and I want to, but it's also a twofer for that,
good,
right? Because if you reinvest into it, yes, I have a story. If I mean, with the way things are going, if you say, okay, you know what, here's my deal. I want to be a producer on this too as well. So I'll take this much for my writing, but I want this much in percentage as a producer, and I'll add this in or
you got
whatever. Huh?
the duties, because then you have to figure out what are your other duties. Because if I
Right.
go on as a other stuff done, so yeah, so
Yeah. I
it
mean,
depends, but that's
it
definitely
requires
something
something.
to think about.
Yeah. I mean, there's things you got to think about,
That's
but
definitely something to think about. Yeah.
that's why I'm so big on not selling. It's a difference between being a writer and work for hire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I got a story. Here's my idea. I outlined it. I give it to you. Boom. It could be work for hire, depending on how you do the contract. But you can still write a small percentage into it so that you're getting some residual, especially if you're taking less money in the beginning, right? So if you're taking less on it's like that what we talked about last week when the guy said, I don't want to spend $1,000 on you to shoot this video. And the guy said, okay, I'll incur all the costs. I'll shoot the video. But what I want is 50% of what you make. And the guy said, wait, what happens when that passes $1,000? He said, it will, because I'm going to make, he said, it will. And the guy said, why are you afraid of it? He said, because you're probably going to make the best video that's going to bring me a bunch of customers. He said, I will absolutely do that because I want to get paid. Yeah, right. And he's like, so yeah. He said, but then he was like, what if it passes $1,000? He said, it will. And you'll pay me because you're not incurring any of the costs. If you don't want to pay me more than what I'm worth by that type of deal, then pay me what I'm worth. So pay me the $1,000 to shoot your video, and then you get to keep all the profit.
You get to keep all the profits.
But so that's the thing. You can't keep everything if you bring nothing. I've always had people who've, not always, but in many cases, I've had people approach me and was like bringing nothing to the table. Oh, I have an idea. Yes, everybody does. Sorry. Ideas are a dime a dozen. Actually, they're less than a dime. They're a penny a dozen. Everyone has an idea. Everybody goes, I'll have a story to tell. Yeah, everyone has a story. The reason
Gotta make you rich.
Yeah, you won't. You can't guarantee that. Those words are not guaranteeable. If you're ever in business, you cannot guarantee. First of all, you don't understand the market. You don't research half the stuff. So the reality is you're just coming with an idea that everyone has an idea. And trust me, you're not the only person with that idea. Like I say, watch all these movies and you'll notice how similar all of them are because they're the same idea. It's just the wrapping paper is different. Mm-hmm. How you tell, it's the same story. It's how it's told differently. And I'd say this too when I teach film. Hey, I can give everybody in here the same script. You're not going to shoot it all the same. Some of you are going to make it a thriller. Some of you are going to make it a comedy. Some of you might make it a drama. Some of you may make it a superhero movie. Some of you may make it a very dark superhero movie. You're going to make some nuances because of how you like to tell stories. Mm-hmm. It's like jokes. I've heard the same jokes, but it depends on who tells it well and how they come out.
Who tells it? Yep.
That's it. So our mistake is in business is understanding the business, right? If you can't write, you're not a writer. Hey, just respect the fact that you're not a writer. There are a lot of the thing I learned about every industry is the problem is middlemen. There's always a bunch of middlemen. They're good at one thing, connecting. But they make the most money because they make the connections. I tell you, I mean, it's just that's the
That
truth.
finder's fee for them executive producers, let me tell you, it's
Yeah,
so true.
and then those executive
I'm like, how
producers,
y'all getting paid more than the people who doing the work? Like,
right? And so it's the middlemen. It's the people, they don't know how to make a movie. They never make a movie, but they can connect the dots to get a movie made. And
mhm.
it's because of people are afraid. Well, I don't know. I've never made a movie before. Okay, make one and go through the trials and errors of making one. I don't know. There's a bunch of books on how to be a producer. There's a bunch of books on how to be a director. There's a bunch of videos. There's everything. There's no knowledge deficit, but the problem becomes when you go to the guy who has the money and they have to take all the risk, or the guy who has all the things you need because you don't want to invest in those things because you don't want to take any risk. The greater the
Mhm.
risk, the greater the reward. That's always been a business motto. The greater the risk, the greater. So if I'm shelling out the
Ooh,
millions to make your movie,
bitch.
my reward is going to be greater because what are you missing? What are you losing? What, you're saying, oh, I wrote the script? No, it's that I'm shelling out millions of dollars. So I've got money to lose. Where your script may not pan out, but you know what you can do? You can go tweak your script, change the name of the story, and go to somewhere else and sell it. Or you got another script sitting there and you can go to another person and not me to go make this film. That's why being a director, being a producer, those are hard jobs, I will say. Um, but studios, if they're taking a risk, and I always said to people, the studios need you, but you need them because you're coming to them for their money. So write
Mhm.
something that you don't have to go to somebody for their money for, or a lot of money for, or maybe you and your friends come together and say, "Hey, I need $1,000 from you. I need $1,000 from you. I need $1,000 from you. Can you help me? Can you help me?" And I'll give you all a percentage, and we're gonna make this $10,000 movie.
But make sure you have something when you go to your friends are
Mhm.
not gonna invest in you just because they're your friends. They're gonna invest in you because you're prepared.
Exactly. Because my friends have questions. They were like, "So you got a script?" "Yeah, I got a script. I'll send it over to you, but I need you to sign this NDA so you don't share with anybody else. We still family, but I still need you to sign this." And respect it. It's business is business. It doesn't matter that you're friends with people, it's still business. And if you carry it like business, I want my friends to be successful and succeed at anything and everything they do, even if they work with me or I work
Absolutely.
with them. But we still need to treat it as business so that there's no argument, there's no back and forth. It is what it is. And it's not about greed. But the thing is, I want everyone around me to eat. Like, I know
Hmm.
that everyone around me doesn't have to starve. And if we are contributors, we all eat. And this is what I say to people all the time. Yes, I understand there's some people who they don't have the money, they don't have this, they don't have that. But they do have to become honest. Why don't they have it? Right? If I say I don't want to do something that I know is going to get me ahead in life, I need to take all the responsibility. I would be responsible if it worked out for me and I did well, and I'd be responsible if it failed. You
Hmm.
have to be honest with yourself, right? And what people want to do is they want the accolades when they win. They don't want the
Mm.
realities. They don't want the reality of when they lose. Well, I lost because of no,
Preach.
I didn't practice or I didn't do this. Maybe I didn't do that, so that's why it didn't pan out. Okay, I need to go back to the drawing board. Losing isn't a quit. Losing doesn't mean quit. Losing isn't truly failure. The truth in failure is quitting, never doing it, stopping. The You don't fail if you learn from it. That's like how simple it is to me. And I know people gonna say easier said than done, but it's not. Just do. You're going to fail. I don't know. I've taken math tests as a kid. I failed them, but guess what? I did learn eventually math because I practiced it and I read books and I went to the library. I guess what? I have papers that I failed, but I didn't quit writing papers. You know how you know I didn't quit writing papers? Because I have 4 degrees. Like, I worked hard to get here because I believed in myself and I made the investment.
Mhm.
Hey, I got to shut off the video game system. Hey, I got to turn off the TV, which really hurts. I mean, TK can tell you, when I was doing grad school, I really wasn't doing a whole lot of anything else. It was a lot of sacrifice. It's only temporary for a permanent solution. And
Amen.
so I tell everybody about anything. Everything is temporary. The sacrifice is always temporary. Hey, I stopped eating at Starbucks so I can save money to do this. It's temporary. I might not even go back to Starbucks because I'm like, oh, it's much cheaper if I just do this. Every Saturday or Sunday, go pick up this food, put it in a freezer, buy my juices or make juice, and I'm not even spending maybe I'm spending a quarter of what I spent on Starbucks for the entire month. That's the $100 right there. So that means I
Yep.
saved $300. Change your lifestyle, make it better. But if we lie to ourselves, if we make excuses, if we keep doing the same bad behavior, we're not going to get different results. That's
And
insanity.
then we're mad at everybody for not investing in us.
Yeah,
You haven't invested or sacrificed for yourself. Why are you expecting people to invest or sacrifice for you?
exactly.
Mm.
And if
And
they
I know.
do, then they're going to come and say, "Hey, I'm going to give you this money, but I want this much." Think about this. When you go watch Shark Tank, just watch Shark Tank. That's the best show to watch. Why? Because there are people going to these people for their money and they ask you some questions. And then when they know some telltales, oh, this person isn't totally invested in this. Well, here comes Mr. What's his name? What they call him? Uh, can't remember what they call Kevin. But when Kevin comes, Kevin got a deal for you. In perpetuity. He always says in perpetuity. Because he going to keep getting paid. He put his money in, he going to keep getting it. He knows how to, because he's that middle guy that knows how to make the connections. It's like you're going to them for their connections and their input and their knowledge. And guess what? They got it. You know why you know they got it? Because you know they got it because you watch them. You see it because of their accolades and their experience, and they're already making the money and they got the money. So you want them to invest in you. So for them to invest in you, they need to benefit greater, which puts more money in their pocket, which they can invest in somebody else. And they're going to have multiple streams of income. So if one of you fail, the other 20 don't, and they make money off of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's business. Same thing with the film industry. If one movie fails, think about this. I'm going to show you this. So I went to see Spider-Man. Before Spider-Man, it was right now it's Spider-Man and Little Mermaid that are made the most money right now. Before that, Mario Brothers. What just recently dropped? Fast and the Furious. Here's the interesting thing. Everybody said, I'm tired of Fast and the Furious. Just the reality. People say how bad the movie was. Right now, I can go buy Fast and Furious for $19.99 on Apple. Didn't even know it was coming. But I can rent it or watch it. For $25, I can watch it. I mean, $19.99 I can rent it. For $25, I can buy it and just watch it. Because it ain't do so well. I can't get Spider-Man yet. I can't. Mario Brothers you can get now, but you know how much Mario Brothers is to buy on digital? $30. They know the value of their film. People were talking about Mario Brothers good. You guys see it. And they were hyping it. Now it's available digitally, but it's expensive still. You might as well go watch it in a movie theater and pay less. Unless you got a whole bunch of kids, then you gotta pay the $30 or $24.99 to rent. Well, why
Give
pay
everybody some
24?
hot dogs and chips.
Yeah.
And some Capri Sun.
Or some pizza. Some of that. Yeah, like, here you go, kids, watch this. And you spent $30, but you got $30 for an hour or 2 hours of quietness. You know, and 10 kids. Whatever. Is it worth it? At the end of the day, you start to see the market. Why does this movie drop so much so quickly? Why did this movie come out so fast? Study the market. We have to study the market. When these movies start to hit their downslope in the theaters, you'll see them available online. And if you don't pre-order, the price jumps up. I did a pre-order on Spider-Man. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm pre-ordering this right now. It's $19.99. But when that movie drops, available to buy, and it's going to be $24.99, I've already bought it for $19. I liked it that much.
They're smart. They're smart.
Yeah, because then it's available to you. And so as filmmakers, when we study business, the industry, and marketing, because really that's what independent people, that's where our problem lies. We're always begging for distribution deals. Oh, I need distribution. I need distribution. But you can distribute your stuff yourself. Actually, you're dangerous. If you distribute and market your stuff yourself, the industry is going to look at you because, oh my God, wait a second. How much money they make? If you spent $10,000 to make a movie, but you made $100,000 back, that's 10 times profit. That's 10 times your profit. So you've more
Absolutely.
than done what you need to do. If you make $1 million back off a $10,000 film, I need to talk to you. They're going to try to figure out how you did it. And the reason I say what I say is simple. And it's not easier said than done. It's understanding people and their thought process. People want to be entertained, and they'll find any way to escape life to be entertained. Go to the pet rock. A rock you can literally walk out, find, smooth out, put some eyes on it, put it in a box that probably costs you 2 cents for the box and the straws in it, maybe 7 cents total. Sell it for $5 or $3.99 to $5 or whatever. Give it a degree program. It's a pet rock. It can graduate college and have a master's and doctorate degree. Give it a name, birth certificate. The reason I'm telling you this, because it happened. $15 million, 6 months. Pet rock. And I can walk out my house and make a pet rock. People just want to spend money sometimes. That's what I learned about people. How can you get them to part with their money for what you're doing? Are you that good of a storyteller? Are you connecting to your audience? If you don't know your audience, that's the biggest thing I always say to independent filmmakers. Who's your audience? I say to my students, who's your audience? If you don't know that, what are you writing for? The person, I see a lot of black filmmakers, well, not a lot, some black filmmakers and people got a lot to say about, knows his audience and made himself a billionaire off of his audience. Think about that. Has studios, which I've heard people, I want to open a studio. Tim Reed was the first black person I knew outside of Marshall to have a studio. And then there was another black company before then too. They had studios, but Tim Reed was the next person I knew that had a actual studio in Virginia. And then I was Tyler Perry. And then now there's some other people. There's some women who've opened some studios. Actually, several women have created their own studios in Atlanta. So the reality is the very thing you need is there, invaluable. But we make excuses. Hey, I can't do this because. Okay, well, how can you get there? What can you do to get you? And I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to myself when I'm talking to, because I have to be honest with myself. Am I doing everything that I possibly can do? And this is the wake up for all of us. Are we doing everything we can do? I know I talk to TK at least once a week or text message or whatever. And TK is on her grind. I don't care what anybody can tell me. I know that TK is the hardest working script writer I know. And she ain't just writing scripts, but she is. It's like, you'll be like, I got 2 scripts. I got this one. Oh, I got to go work over here. But not once have I heard TK say, I can't do that. I got to think about it. Not once have I heard you say, I can't do that. You say, I can't. If you said you couldn't do something, it's like, it's not saying you can't do it. It's like, because of my schedule, I can't do it right now. But if you catch me 2 weeks from now, I can do that. Like, there's the solution. Because TK be like, hey, I can't write any scripts right now because I'm already working on 3. So when I take a break from those, I'll let you know, and then send me over the script, and I'll get to working on it. Don't forget to pay your bill. All right. Am I lying, though? That's exactly what TK does. But not once did she say, I
I
can't do
gotta
it.
have lights. I gotta have lights to write, you know.
Yeah, not once did she say, can't do it. It's that right now I'm already working. She's unable to touch it because she's busy right now doing what you trying to get her to do already for somebody else. That's where we need to be at in our mindsets with one another. I'm filming right now, busy filming, but if you want to rework your schedule, you want me to really film your thing, I'll be available this day, this week, and this week, or this month. That's how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So hopefully we've driven you guys. We've pushed you guys. Because today was one of those shows. We talked about what we watched, but TK was talking about Mary J. Blige earlier. I don't know if you guys chimed in. And you know what? We were talking so much. Oh, yeah, we did do the intro. I forgot we did the intro just now. Like, hey, did we
did the intro. Yeah, I'm excited to see Mary J. Blige, Real Love. So Real Love is 2 parts film series that's based off her albums, The Strength of a Woman and Real Love. So I'm excited to see those albums play into a movie because I literally there was one of my favorite songs, Send the Fella Dane to Dane, and I literally wrote the song as a movie. I
say that
wrote the whole
again?
song as a movie.
And what happened from that?
The whole
What happened?
So what happened
I want you to tell the story of what
is
happened.
okay. So what is I wrote the movie because God started showing me scenes of the movie. So I looked it up and I looked up Cinderfeller ER, and I didn't see anything. I didn't put so I had a potential investor. So when I did write it, I started looking up stuff, and then I found out that there was a script, Cinderfella, and Regina King and Dana Dane had started pitching it. So I decided to reach out to Dana probably months and months later, just to see if they had a script or if he'd be interested in reading mine. And 9 months later, he hit me back and was like, "Hello, greetings, sorry for the delay." And I'm like, "Is it Dana Dane?" So literally, he told me that he couldn't read that one because he actually um, would read other scripts that I had. And from there, he said he had been through so many script consultations that he actually gave me other little things, not little things, but other things that help enhance my stories. He's executive producer. He's one of the producers now on Love Over Lyrics. He's locked in as a producer. And it wasn't because of his name, because I asked him, could he do SAG paperwork? We don't play name drops around here. I asked him, could he do SAG paperwork? When he asked me, could he be a producer on it? And so he literally has connected. He pitches my stuff when he pitches his stuff. If he hears about any opportunities, he is calling me. I am on one of their writers, he says. I'm part of their team. So a great friendship has developed. I'm on his Christmas text message list. So a great friendship and businessship has developed from that. So I had to see it in hindsight that I didn't write that script for its use, but a good script too. But if anybody wants to check
You
it out,
kind of
it is a good script.
jittering, but
Yeah, but if anybody wants to check it out, it's a great script. But from that script, the purpose of me writing that script was to connect with him in this business and become a colleague. And so that was really good.
So this is why we say it's not easier said than done. It's do it because you don't know what comes of it. When we start making excuses, we miss out on opportunities.
Yes.
Your excuse may not be panning the way you would like to see it happen. It may pan the intentional reason of why it should happen. But in order to be ready, you got to get ready because you wrote a script. You didn't go, well, I have an idea, Dana Dane. No, you said, I have a script. But not only did you have that script, which he said he couldn't read because he already had one and he didn't want to. But you had more scripts, several, much many more. And they were ready to go. And you were like, let me send this over. All right. All the other inner workings happen. And it was like, ooh, I like this. Ooh. And so that's the part I need people to kind of start to understand. Like you're prepared. You didn't stop writing. Like when I know I'm talking to you, I know if you're not writing someone else's stuff, you are writing your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're writing your thing. So it's like, and people be like, it's hard to write. No, listen, you may not be able to write a story script, but if you just start writing and put the bones together, and then the rest of the vital organs and the blood flow, and then the meat, the skin will come as you begin putting the bones. Well, if you don't have any bone structure to your work and you haven't put in the work for it, everything else can't be there. And so that connection, that network is built off of what you have. I remember asking in another film group, because I had Broken, which was my feature film. And I did research, and iTunes at the time, if you didn't have to be a distribution company, if you want to do an independent distribution company, all you needed was 100 films, and Apple would talk to you. And I was like, are there 50 filmmakers who have 2 features? Because I didn't want to make 100 filmmakers. That's a lot of stuff. But if you can get 50 with just 2, then we can come together and we get our stuff on Apple. People are like, I want to talk, but I haven't made anything. I haven't done anything. Then what are you talking to me for? I asked you if you had something. I've already had stuff. So in my mind, come on, I was selling stuff out the trunk of my car, out shipping stuff online. That's just another distribution center. But I didn't want to go through other traditional means of distribution because I wanted to keep my money. Like I invested, I want to keep it. But I was thinking, how can we work together to get all our movies together on this thing and get paid? And then you got to market. It's about marketing. And so how do you market? How do you do stuff? I did pre-sales. I used to do spoken word. My book, my first and second book, my CD, and my movie. I did pre-sales for all that stuff. That's how and I already was in production for everything. So I invested my own money into it first. But then I started doing pre-sales because I knew I was going to have the product. The thing I hate is people who pre-sell and never come with a product. That's one of the reasons why I don't even mess with Kickstarter anymore. I invested into something and it was like never came. And I'm very tight with my money on those things because I can't trust people. But that's the point of marketing. That's the point of pushing your stuff. And I think we have to view it like that. So my 2 cents or my 60-second is, it's not easier said than done. It's just do it. Hold up. TK, you dropped out.
I was trying to switch my network. I was tired of freezing. All
right.
God dog it.
What's your 60-second? I can hear you. Okay, maybe I can't hear you now. Uh-oh. Told her not to switch the network. Oh, there you go. Oh. All right. So as I was saying, TK be back in 2 seconds. Here we go. And then we're about to jet out. We love you guys. We do appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. Okay. So what's your 60-second, Jim?
I wanted to go ahead and switch my network, so I was trying to switch it, and then I did my spot wasn't on. We have Wi-Fi here. I don't know why it keeps freezing. So sorry, guys. But my 60-second, Jim, just going to tell the quick story. I have a friend. She was complaining to me about how she kept reaching out to someone. And she kept reaching out, and they wanted to invite them coffee, and they wouldn't respond. And she was just going on. And I'm like, yeah, I experienced that before where people say, oh, they'll connect with me and, they don't connect and this and that. And then at some point she said, I need to go ahead and write something. You have been on my phone complaining all these different times. It was just one conversation. It was multiple. about this person. I mean, complaining, and you don't even have anything ready to pitch or show them. I was like, you know what? Let me call you back. Like, unfreaking believable. So, I mean, yes, we're all busy. Yes, we have life. Yes, we got to grind. Yes, we got to grind extra because we're trying to pay the rent and, you know, um, and be creative and still not be, too worn out to be creative. I understand. But there are things you can do, and what you can do, do. That's
Mm.
it.
Yeah, you got two do's. Do it. Get it done. What you can do, do. There you go. So today's
That's it.
message on the Black Filmmakers Lounge Saturday morning indie industry shop talk is whatever you can do, do it. And don't procrastinate. Don't make excuses. Just, you know, um, an excuse is a lie disguised to look like a reason.
Period.
There you go. So be strategic, intentional. There we go. Intentional. Let me repeat that again. Authentic. Be strategic, intentional, and authentic. That is the Black Filmmakers Lounge way. We thank you guys for joining us today, hanging out with us. My wonderful co-host, Tamira TK Henderson, taking her time out while she's in LA, city of dreams, and making it happen in California. They don't have a party. There we go. We're glad that you guys joined us today. We hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Again, probably by next week, we'll be wrapping up for the summer and coming back late August. But we do have a Zoom meeting, roundtable.
Mhm.
What day is that, TK?
June 25th.
June 25th. So we'll be putting out a flyer this week to remind you, let you guys know.
Yes.
But Sunday, June 25th, we will be meeting with the round table. If you want to be a part of that round table, you need to shoot a DM message to TK or myself, more so TK, because she puts the email list together. She is a hard grinder and worker. I'm tell you, we make this thing happen, but she really makes this thing happen. And we hope to see you guys next week. Enjoy, have fun Juneteenth. If you're at the film festivals, give us a shout out from the festivals. Let us know. Watch us while you're at the festival. We had ABFF though. All right. We love you guys. And thank you for hanging out with us here at the Black Filmmakers Lounge. Remember that the Black Filmmakers Lounge is a place where interdependent filmmakers, where novelists and professionals come together to gain insight and perspective through education, information, networking, and to discuss industry best practices that would advance the Black interdependent film community. I'm your host, Michael Melvin, my co-host, Tamira TK Henderson. It's been a wonderful Saturday. Go out, shoot something, make something happen. Like, subscribe, share, and we love y'all. Thank you for joining us, and we out. Peace.
Like, subscribe, and share.
What?
Like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, and share.
Peace. All right, Thomas. All right, Darrell. All right, Renita. All right, Tony. We thank you guys. Appreciate y'all, Derek, Jacoby, all y'all. Peace.